Welcome back to our Anno 1800 series. This is modded with a new mod, New Horizon, which opens a whole new region in Asia, which we have actually already developed quite a lot. I mean, this is not my island, this is one of Willy's, but you can see one of our island is over here in Asia. We even have these cool wonders, but there's still much more we need to do in Asia. On the other hand, we have basically completed the Arctic over here, done all of the production. Similarly in Mbesa, we did a lot, and if you have a keen eye, you may even see that we have changed it since last time, or to say differently, we have expanded it. So I'm gonna show you that, and I'm gonna explain why. The why is we have now a lot of scholars. We didn't have any scholars in the previous episode. Now we have this whole neighborhood here of scholars. This used to be workers. I mean, I basically have a few more workers on this side, and I just have a lot less workforce. We could add more there if we want in the future, but yeah, we replace all of this with the scholar neighborhood, with the research institute right in the middle. I'm still researching more of these scholar, permits. I'll explain why in the future. But yeah, we have the scholars over here, and look at this. They are getting pretty much everything. It is going down, I think, because of lifestyle need. Yes, my overseas mail was going, like, basically I'm consuming too much. So I just added in the routes over here, I just added a second ship on it, because I think it's just a case of we are not transporting it quick enough. But yes, we have, as you can see, giving them most of the lifestyle need and everything in happiness, everything in the normal needs. So let's talk about this. Let's also talk about why I did this and what next step is after that. So in terms of the basic needs, they need university. That's easy. I put one here right in the middle of the neighborhood. I also put a couple of services, right? We have the police station, we have fire station, we have 2 hospitals actually, so all good there. We have then the canned food. So I had to increase my canned food production. That's that one over here. Now we have the whole thing over here built of canneries and of artisanal kitchens. So that is good. I mean, that is done. Then we have the suits, tailor suits. That's something completely new. I'm going to show you in a second. But before, let's focus on what else you know. The electricity, right? Nothing new, but I did add one more oil power plant because the closest was all the way over here. So we have now one there at the bottom and one here at the top. So everybody is getting electricity now, all good. Then we have the seafood stew. That's from Mbesa, and that's why I've started to increase, some production in Mbesa. And then 2 other completely new things, the telephones and the radio tower. The radio tower is actually a pretty small service, public service. You can see this is this one over here. Smaller, way smaller than the university. But yeah, that's there, and it is in range of all of my people. Then for the happiness needs, we have a new thing, the laser boots. Then we have the rum from the New World and bombing also from the New World. Couple of things from Mbesa, hibiscus tea, tapestry, clay pipe. That's why I've again increased some of those production. And last but not least, the gramophones that we were already making before. So there is quite a lot of those production, and as you saw, quite a few things that are completely new. So let's start with the laser boots. You can see 3 of them over here, 1, 2, yeah. Yes, 1, 2, and 3. This is using Sanga cow from Mbesa that we're sending here and then transforming into boots. I will show you Mbesa after that. Then we have the tailor suits. We have actually quite a few of these, 4 to be precise, all with electricity. This is those 3 there and the 4th one there. This is using cotton fabric, similar to our other suits, the fur suits, right? And additionally, this is also using linen, which you can make either in Mbesa or in the New Ori region. In this case, we're making it even more in Mbesa, right, and sending it here. Then we have over here, no, that is not that, that is something else. The telephones, here it is. So we have 3 of these, and actually they're pretty big. I think I put them on the top there. I need to reorganize it a bit, but basically, yeah, 3 of these, 1, 2, and 3. This is using a bit more filaments and a bit more wood veneers, and this creating those telephones there. So that's all of the new productions. And as I said, we had to also increase quite a few of the production in M-Pesa. So what I did is I actually deleted this one. This one used to be clay, right? Because we need clay locally. But I'm also making a lot of clay in the new world and in the old world. So what I did is I transformed this one now into water pump. So we increase our water pump capacity, and I'm bringing this clay from another region. We have, therefore, thanks to this increase in irrigation capacity, we have added some new farms over here, right? More teff, more hibiscus, more spice too, and more linseed. And similarly, I have also expanded on this side here, right? We have now a couple of canals, and there is even a bit more space if we want there. Actually, this one you can see hasn't been built, but there's a bit more needed, and actually we have even a few more canals still available, right? If we look at this one there, all right, there's still quite a few, so we could transform this into more farms if need be. But yeah, there's already quite a few. And then I moved all of the production on this side, including all of my production of milk. My production of milk used to be, you know, a bit there, a bit there, a bit here, and it was irrigated, so I didn't need that much. Now it is not irrigated, so we need more. I'm actually, I think, producing way too much, to be honest. Let's check it. If we look at the milk, yeah, we're producing way too much, even for the milk that we need to send to other places. Where are you going? Yeah. So what I could do potentially now is also put minus 50% on the milk, which give me a plus 5% happiness, which is great for my happiness, or could enable me to boost something. For example, boost my linen, or potentially boost some of those farms that are quite limited at the end of the day, right? But yeah, this is a pretty simple layout. You can see over here with a silo in the middle, and then all of the other productions there. Now I see we have a problem. Oh, tobacco. I did indeed forget about this. We are bringing tobacco from the new world, and we used to only have one pipe maker. Now we have 3. So yeah, clearly I'm gonna need to increase that production of tobacco in the new world. I did increase also many of the other productions, right? We have more luminaires, we have more embroiders, more of everything basically, to be able to give it to all of these scholars, right? Now, as a reminder, to be able to create scholars, you need a scholar residence permits, which you develop in the Research Institute in major discoveries of here, revolutionary concept. The price keeps increasing, but your reserves should also keep increasing with your number of scholars. So right now, for example, right, I have 90,000 points as a maximum, and this is also being replenished quite quickly thanks to all of these people. To be able to increase my limit, right, to one more thousand, so 91,000, I need to get a bit more, right? I'm at 8,987 scholars. I need to get 9,400, right? So we need to get just a bit more scholars, and this is always how it goes. You increase the limit of research points by having more scholars. Now, why would you want more scholars? Because every time you do one of these research, any type of research, the cost will increase. So let's actually take all of these out, and I can show you. So let's do, for example, I think these for me are super powerful. For example, changing the deposit, changing the fertility, moving a clay deposit that's in the middle of the island. You want to move it somewhere nice. Right. So right now it's 5,000, and it does take quite a bit of time, by the way, which you can reduce by assigning engineers, but still it's gonna be a bit of time. So let's say we're gonna change the deposit. So the first one was 5,000, next one is 10,000, 20, 30, 40. So it quickly increases, right? And very quickly it's gonna reach 90,000. And the next one is gonna be 100,000. I'll never be able to do it. I will never get this number of points, right? Now, the good news is that this number will stop. It will stop at 250,000 for most of these. It actually doesn't stop for the items. If you want to develop items, this will never stop. It can increase, all the time. But for this one, it will stop at 250,000. So what you may hear many YouTubers tell you is you need to try to get 250,000 as a limit, which I don't remember exactly how much scholars it is, but it's basically more than this, right? It would be probably doubling it. We may do it later on, but for now, I think it's more important for us to continue moving on. I mean, I need to fix this hibiscus tea. Apparently, I'm not sending enough. And I need to also fix a bit the clay pipe or the tobacco, I said in the New World. But most importantly, I think it would be good for us to start working on some of the other production. In particular, if we look at all of the skyscrapers. Why? Oh, I mean on the wrong one. So all of the skyscrapers, they want some chewing gum. Right? This one, chewing gum. Also, the first skyscraper we have for the magnets. Right? He also wants a chewing gum. The chewing gum is the next production we should do. But if we look at our investors over here, the chewing gum is basically going to use tons of stuff and even be made itself directly in the New World. So yeah, we haven't really been working on the New World in a long time because we built this magnificent city over here. But now, with the space that we still have, we will probably need to do a couple of those new productions. Ladies and gents, update, I have changed my mind. I know I do that a lot, but basically when I started to rework a bit on the New World, I realized that it's not gonna be that easy. Even just adding a bit more tobacco is not gonna be that easy because most of the islands are taken by, my enemy, or not enemy, but Beryl, right? Not me. We're already covering most of the other islands with kind of zero workforce, no population on it. So now I'm gonna have to do the same thing we just did in the Cape a couple of episodes ago, which is to start using, the commuter pier. It is actually a slightly different building. It is the airship platform with this module over here, the commuter station. But that enables you, right, to connect your workforce across your islands. And that's, again, what I think we're going to have to start doing. In particular, this is, my tobacco island. I think we're going to have to put a big tobacco trade union in the middle like this with tractors and things like this. We're going to connect it to the oil, etc. But while I was realizing this, I'd say, it would be good to be able to also start moving the oil field and changing some of the deposits, because if I connect, those islands, I have to take away the plus 50% for gold mine. So it may be good to have more gold mines, for example, right? So changing, for example, this iron over here and these two mineral to gold too. Moving, these oil fields. I have on this island, for example, some gold oil field on this side, but also some oil field on that side. Instead, I can potentially move them all here or there, right? And that makes it a lot easier. But to be able to do this, we need to reach a bit more of research points. I think when I left you, we were on 90,000 of research points. But for those major discovery, as I said just before, the cost will quickly start moving up, right? So we're going to want to get to the maximum, which is 250,000. That's the maximum for all of these, right? That way we'll be able to do many of these, move the thing like we want, etc. And that will help me to make a perfect new world, if you wish. And also a perfect old world, by the way. So to do this, we're going to need more scholars. I've already placed more on this side here and prepared to put more there. That means we had to delete even more workers than before. And so I've added even more workers here. But I think this is starting to shape nicely well. In particular, if I start using town hall items, we have, I think nice space here for 2 town halls that, as you can see, that will cover pretty well, all of my scholars. Now, what items are we going to put in those town halls? Well, you can find some items, as I said in the past, at Archie, etc., at also Ellie. But for more of the advanced ones, the reality is they are a lot harder. If we press Ctrl T, you can click here on unknown so that you see all of the items, even if you don't know them, if you've never seen them. And many of these, legendary ones that are pretty good, or even, if we start going down to these over here, the epic ones, many of these you cannot actually buy. I mean, I took a bad example, I guess. This one you can buy at Ellie, but many of them you won't. And in particular, if I do something like this, I can do scholar residence, right? These are all of the items that will impact a scholar residence. then I can also focus only on the town hall items and see, what's going to be the best ones. And in this case, right, you'll see many of them, they have now this beacon, right, this scientific thing. This is to say that I have found this item in the research institute. I'll show you how in a second, but yes, let's see, for example, Dean. Dean is a really amazing one. You can only get it through a quest or through the research institute. And again, this is the same for most of these items. So at some point you will have to go to the research institute and start developing them. So you click on go to the research institute, right? And first you're gonna need to do fields of research. Later you'll have to do item development, but first you need to do field of research, because field of research is how you discover these things. As you can see, for example, on cultural science, I have discovered 120 out of the 292 that are available. Or for talent, I have discovered 99 out of the 421. So these are all, those 99 are the one I can actually then do in the item development. So, you go, for example, let's say you're looking for a specialist for a trade union, a tunnel, or harbor master office. You click on this one, click on invest, and then you choose what you want. You want something for a town hall, for an industrial expert, so that's trade union, or for maritime expert, that's for the harbor master. And as you can see, for civil, there's only one, because I've basically found all of the other ones. So now if I try to do it again, right, you'll see all of these have been discovered. But I can do the same for, these and identify them. And every time you do this, the investment cost, right? So the cost in terms of research point to do it increases. 2,700 now. If I do it again, you'll see 2,800. But these costs are pretty low compared to, my total research point right now. So it's not a problem at all to do it. And yeah, as I said, I found, all of the civil experts for the scholars. And what I'm trying to do is we're trying to increase my total research point limit. Right? And remember that total research point limit is limited to a scholar population. So what I want to do is to get items that are going to give me bonus residence. And so Dean is definitely the best one, 24 bonus residence from the university. On top of this, a bonus of happiness of 10 and a bonus of research point of +2. So that means our bonus or research point, they're going to get back to the maximum very quickly with this. Then, the next one is 9 from the tailored suits and leather boots. So that's pretty high again. And then last but not least, we have 9 also from the telephone and radio towers, with also some bonus happiness. So don't hesitate to tell me in the comments below if you disagree, if you think there is another that is better, but do remember that with this mod, many of these items have been nerfed. So one item that you think may be really good may not be anymore. And again, this is why I suggest you do Ctrl-T, and you can search. If you know already a specific item, you can search for it. But if you don't know the items, or let's say you're looking for what are all of the items that will impact a what kitchen, right? So you do this, you click on what kitchen, and now I can see all of these, and I can also see again where can I find them. And in this case, for example, only in the research institute or in quest. And again, when you found the item you're looking for in field of research, then you go into item developments, and this is a bit like Ctrl-T. You will just look for whatever you want. You will see, its development cost, and you can add it to your queue like I did over here. So I'm gonna build these ones. I'm gonna try to get a few more campus extension, and at that point, I think we will be very close, or maybe already there. I haven't calculated exactly, to the house, how many do we need to get to 250. And when we get to 250, then I'll be able, to switch to a lot of these, wrong button, to a lot of these major discoveries, in particular changing the ore, moving ore spring, etc., or even changing fertility potentially. Now you may be seeing that I am also developing something else, a temple of Nafir, because, unless, in case this wasn't clear, this is not just about the items for trade union and town hall. You have also, machines here and consumable, and you have also your animals, artifact, and plants. I've already done quite a few of the artifacts. This is why you can see the legendaries, 3 legendaries, because the more you do it, the more you have only the legendaries that are left, right? So we can continue doing it. But yeah, I've done a lot. I guess this is the last one. Here it is. So we've done all of the artifacts because I was looking for that one. I'm going to show you in a second why. And then we can also do the animals and plants so that we can finalize our zoo, our museum, and our botanical garden. And you may realize that it is actually a lot bigger already. Most of these I didn't research, I just bought at the traders, because you definitely can buy at the traders, also in the Arctic and in Bessa. And with this, we have already done actually a couple of different exhibits. For example, Tega, this is -5% for many different foods, right? Like seafood stew from Mbesa, but also sausage, chocolate, etc. So that's pretty valuable. Domestic farm, actually not that valuable on this island because it push your animal farms. So I should almost like kind of move this one to the island where we're making pigs, etc. But it's only 5%, so it doesn't matter. On that side, we have also done quite a few. Look at this, +3 of attractiveness, increasing the visits. So I get more and more specialists for free. Teeming lakes, +20% of coastal production for my buildings. This one, love it. Scholar residents, -10% for hibiscus and seafood stew. And yeah, we have quite a few others. We're missing, for example, here the lion. So I should probably try to research the lion. Similarly here, the dromedary. Right, so we're gonna try to get them all. And in particular, if we look over here also at the museum, you'll see we have done a few others that are pretty powerful, like custom duty chains 20%, where we can get gold and jewelry. Love it. Good consumption, -5% for some pretty advanced stuff. Icebound, maintenance costs for many things. Root of Mbesa, we increase our research points. And the one that we're missing over here, the Temple of Nafir, this is for the gods of the Delta. And they may have changed, because again, they changed a lot of things in this mod. So they may have changed the bonus, but if they haven't, I guarantee you it's a big one. So when that's done, I'll show it to you. Botanical, I don't think we made a lot of progress since last time I showed you, but we do have some interesting one, like a hunting cabin. This is for the doctors, right? And there's many where we have done quite a bit of progress, but there's one or two missing. So we need to find them. And again, this is probably because you can't buy them, and so I need to find them. Having said that, also to be able to, have so many scholars, we definitely need to continue improving Mbesa, and I've started in particular putting some items, right? I showed you some of those things over here, but now I started putting items. So for example, if we look there at this trade union, most of these items, they cover the lumineers. So this is why you have the lumineers there. And this one covers the tea spicer with something super powerful. Because one, it's going to increase the productivity by 20%, but most importantly, it's going to change from using hibiscus petal to linseed. Right? Here you have linseed instead of the petals. And why is that super powerful? Well, linseed, let me show you over here. Linseed is 96, right? Flower petal is 100, or hibiscus petal, sorry, is 144. So you can definitely put a lot more of linseed than petals. Now I did keep one over here because there's one tier of population somewhere that needs some petals as a lifestyle need. But yeah, I've started also to continue to reorganize on this side. So this is not finished at all. I'm working on it now, but I wanted to show you why I'm working on it and the start of it. But yes, we took also all the buildings that were here. We put them over there. It's all of these here. I have also put another trade union here that is focusing on ceramic workshop and pipe makers. So the pipe makers are over here, ceramic there. This is, increasing productivity, decreasing workforce. This is a type of one that you love, right? We have productivity boost. We have productivity boost, and instead of using, tier 2 to use tier 1 population. So a lot of really great one on this side. And what I also did on that side is, you may remember we didn't have, or we don't have over here, the fertility for lobster. We may be able to change that in the future, but actually I am producing lobster on the island here directly. I deleted everything that was on this island there. We don't need it anymore. So simplifying, logistic and all of this. with that. Where is the lobster? Because I put this Harbor Master Office with 3 items. First one is really good, but this is not what enables me to do this. It increased the productivity, decreasing workforce by 50%, maintenance cost by 50%, so really good. The last one is also productivity and maintenance. So actually these guys, you can see they cost nothing. They cost 0 of upkeep and very little of workforce. So what you may want to do is also actually build as many as you can of these, because one, they really don't cost that much, right? I mean 0 of upkeep and not that much of workforce, but then that enables you to do minus 50% and therefore increase your happiness. But yeah, more importantly, this is the middle item over here, the Lobster Man, because it increases the productivity again, 40%, so that's pretty big. But more importantly, it will give me the lobster abundance. So that basically means I don't need the fertility and it's still working fine. I mean, more than fine, right? Because we're talking about, what is it? 210 without the minus 50%. So this works really well. And with this, we make the lobster directly on site, right? So anyway, like I was saying, right, we're starting to use a bit more items. We're gonna need to produce more, and we have more space over here for all of these. Oh no, one more. We have over here a trade union for this paper production, because my paper production was not enough. Remember, this is a lifestyle needed by somebody, so I needed to boost it, and this is boosting it by 45%. This is boosting it by 30%. Now, I'm not gonna lie, but it took a while. But here it is. We're getting to 250,000. Perfect. We have basically more than 25,000 scholars, and that way that is linked to 250,000 limit for research points. And so we'll be able to research a lot of things. Now remember, this is a lot harder than usual because they have, nerfed a lot of the items. They have nerfed completely the newspaper, right? Instead of a huge decrease in the consumption, if I combine all of the austerity, right? All 3 austerity, that's what I've been doing for a while. If you look at my newspaper, right, you only get 7 plus 5 plus 3. This is basically nothing, right? But we have managed indeed, to extend the number of scholars over here to cover them well. Add a couple of items too, right? These are all of the items I mentioned. So we're getting bonus residents with all of these, and also on this side. And with this, we are now getting enough people. I'm providing them everything on the normal needs. Let's not look at happiness because, to be honest, happiness is not stable yet. I need to stabilize happiness, but I wanted to show you as soon as I go to 250,000. And then similarly on the lifestyle need, it is somewhat stable. What do I mean by somewhat stable? Basically, all 3 males at the top are stable, including a whole new one, the regional male. So we're gonna talk about that. We have all 3 at the bottom that are also completely stable. The salpetre is totally stable. The one that are not stable are the Arctic reports and the New World reports. These are some 2 new types of males, if you wish, that are only available for scholars. And they come, as the name suggests, this one from the New World and this one from the Arctic. Now, to be able to get those 2, you need to do something specific in these regions. So let's look at the Arctic, for example, over here. We have our post office there, right? Now, with the Arctic, you're gonna need an Arctic Lodge, which is the equivalent of both the trade union and the town hall at the same time. And you're gonna need to put that item over here, Arctic Science Reporter. With that item, you're gonna start creating Arctic reports as long as your post office is in range. But obviously in the Arctic, we don't have that many people. So especially at a rate of 1 out of 3, we're really not making that many Arctic reports. I mean, we can look at it. I think it's like a 0 basically, or 1. Yeah, here it is. See, we're making basically 0 of these Arctic reports. So that's not gonna be enough. In the New World, we have a lot more population, right? We have this whole population there, which, by the way, I think we're gonna expand in the next episode on this side too. But yeah, we have this whole population, so it will be definitely easier to get more of these reports. In this case, you need a town hall and you need this New World Science Reporter, which you can, by the way, get right by research points. But yeah, you get this one, and it will do the same, right, for your post offices and post boxes. Create new world reports, 1 out of 3 cycles. So we have, one over here. Then I'm gonna hope to put some on this side, one somewhere over here, and one somewhere over there. So it's not covering all of my people, but it's covering all of my post offices. And as a bonus, maybe it's already arrived. Yeah, here it is. So I'm getting a second one now, and I am actually making, look over here, still 2 more, because I showed you I need 4. But what I wanted to show you is, as a bonus, I do have 2 more space for something else. And I think we're going to try to find, different items to increase the workforce, so that this way we don't have to increase the population by too much, but we can have a lot more jornaleros and obreros workforce. Now, I did mention indeed that we're giving regional mail. So where is that coming from? Well, we had already connected many other islands to conqueror, so they're already not, perfect island with no population. And so it is fine to start putting some population on it. The only thing is, to have enough regional mail for those scholars, you needed quite a bit of population, especially at level 1 farmers, right? Because you produce more and more of letters, the more dense your population is. So farmers is not very dense. But yes, with 4 of these, town halls like this, blocks, and obviously 4 post office in the middle, we are producing enough regional mail to send to conqueror. It is over here, right? The airship, you can see it is. We're using, I'm not even giving them, the local mail, because I want to make sure all of the mail is sent to conqueror, but then I bring back some from conqueror, so they get at least this. I have started, as you may have seen also, to start putting some of these books or items in the town hall, most of them to try to increase the workforce. That's my goal with population, is you want the least amount of population to feed, but you want the most workforce to work, right? So I'm trying to get, the items that give you plus workforce. Some of them, they still need some, but we have definitely started to put quite a few, right? So that is great progress again, I feel, on this side. We have my farmer population, and I chose the farmer because it's the easiest, right? There's very few resources. We're already making the workflows on site. We just need to bring the fish and the schnapps, and that's it, right? All of the others require a lot more of complexity. So yes, basically to recap, we're not going to make enough article reports, but I'm just doing it for the fun of it. And we should be able to make enough new world reports as soon as I have created those 4 items. And with this, we can stop talking about the scholars. No, just before we stop talking about them, let me show you 2 new corners there. First of all, they all have access to electricity, because even this one there, right? 1 tile access to electricity. So all of these have access to electricity. And there is 1 corner for the tailor's shop, right? For the suits, and 1 corner for the telephones over here, because we need a lot. And let me show you. Telephone, we need 13, or we need 12, and we're making 13. And the suits, we need 21, making 26. So that is, that was definitely a tough one. It took me a while. I'm going to show you also what we had to change in Embesa for this. And I put even some trade unions to start helping us. We have, for example, productivity boost over here and a bit of workforce reduction. And then on that side here, we have a workforce decrease, and productivity increase. So that helped me for sure. And this is what we have to do more and more, especially with this mod. If you want to survive, you have to make sure you take advantage of everything that the game has to offer. But yeah, to be able to make 20 plus tailor shop, we needed 20 plus linen, and also we needed a tons of stew. Right? So I had to do quite a bit of work in Embesa. Let me show you first the small island. The small island over here has more people now. And we have also started putting trade unions that are going to increase my irrigation capacity. This one is 30, 25, and 20. So it increases the capacity, right? We're at 650 instead of 500, I guess. And we started, I started at the end, and then I'm making my way back to the center. We have over here a lot of bee production, right, or honey production if you wish. We have then a lot of production for indigo there, and we have a bit of teff production too, because I just didn't have enough space on the other island. But as you can see, these ones seem to be full. We are producing enough, no problem. And I do have, again, some trade unions here to boost some of those productions like productivity and workforce needed, and productivity. And all of these, I just went over here at Kitima and you can just buy them. They are available pretty easily. So I didn't have to research, but you can also research them, I guess. So that's the first island over here, right? And then our main island, again, we basically now is almost full. You can see it's going all the way there. We have my lobster here that's working at full speed. We have a lot of teff. We have a lot of spices too. And of course, tons of linseed, because you need linseed for your linen, but also for my hibiscus. Then even more on this side, all right, this is completely full everywhere. There's even more trade unions, like this one reduces the number of modules for these Sangha cows. So we need only 4 instead of 5. Plus on top of this, I've put the silos. So yeah, we're producing quite a bit on this side, even more farms here. And then all of these productions there, there is a lot, like these 4 or 5 clay ones. We have, I don't know, many watt kitchen, like 2, 4, 6, 8 watt kitchen. I did pause one production, which is a tapestry loom, because I just wasn't making enough linen for all of the tapestries for the scholars, right? The scholars wanted a lot of tapestries, but right now, it's just an happiness need. It reduces a bit my money, but we're making tons of money, so that's okay. But yeah, ladies and gents, that was a lot. We have really boosted our population of scholars. We have unlocked basically now a lot of the items to be developed, and most importantly, we have reached 250,000, which is the maximum for these ones over here, as well as these guys there, which are really key for the end game. So now I can start moving oil spring, changing deposits, changing fertility, moving clay deposit. We can start doing all of these. That's gonna basically start running in the background, right? I'm gonna add them to the queue. And as you can see, the cost of it increases very quickly, but it's gonna stop at 250. So that's the important thing. Now, last but not least, I did promise in the last episode that we would do the chewing gum so that my magnet over here would be happy. Unfortunately, I see they're not happy, they're missing bombing. And that is because the scholars also want bombing, right? If I pause for the scholars, I think we should be fine in a couple of minutes, because I did create the chewing gum. You can see the chewing gum is over here. We have also, I guess, if we look at the engineers, it's the same. They have their chewing gum, but to be able to get to the furniture store, we need 15 level 3 skyscrapers. And for these ones, that means we need also the biscuits. I think this is really what we're gonna do in the next episode. I continue upgrading all of the population over here, the magnets, the investors, skyscrapers, etc. to continue to unlock many of those new productions here, the biscuits, the cognac. And in parallel, I think another thing I'd love to do is to finish all of the zoos and museum and things like this. Thank you for watching, ladies and gents. There is quite a few things we still need to do, but I'm really proud of our progress, and in particular, it's really great to see a full scholar neighborhood. Do tell me in the comments below if you have any questions, photo requests, and I hope to see you next time.